Today we are doing a NetDocs Advanced Training webinar. Now, when you go live with the NetDocs, we usually like to do this training 1 to 2 weeks after your initial NetDocs user training. That way you've had some experience with NetDocs, and then we do that training. A couple of things that I will note here. One, not everyone from the firm attends the advanced training. Everyone needs to attend the initial user training, but not everyone attends the advanced training. Some firms never schedule the advanced training, even though we ask them to. I mean, they're using NetDocs. They think they know what they're doing. They're happy. All that's actually really good. So one of the purposes of doing this webinar is we record it and then we're going to send it to the firm. Like, if you don't schedule a training with me, here is the advanced training. And I feel like this one doesn't really matter as much on how your NetDocs is customized for the stuff that we go over. Before we start this webinar, we'll do the three things we always do: NetDocs updates, optimal updates, and then the NetDocs tips updates. And I hope everyone is having a good summer. Let's come over to the NetDocs announcements here. All right, 2026 web refreshes. Oh, crap. We got a lot of updates here. All right, so someone's been busy. This is good. I mean, except if you have to update all these manuals. Okay, activity logs format has changed. Default format is changed from XML to JSON. Well, you can still change it, so I'm not really sure where that matters. Export job to error emails. It looks like bug fixes. The collab space admin power bar is released now. I'll be going over that when we do collab space training. Single document downloads, single and multi-document downloads no longer trigger a pop-up. That's awesome. New document status indicators. I don't know if everyone's seen that, but those are actually pretty cool here, telling you the initials of the user and if they're editing it, if they have it checked out or not. And there's just some bug issues addressed. All right, so that's new with NetDocs. I would also say, let's come over to announcements. Let's come over to the chat link. Great. This is what always happens. We just did our chat link webinar. And so, like, I think I've got this video now for a year. Well, they've updated chat link. So let's see here. All right. Save post. Users can save a team post as a PDF. All right. Well, that separate workspaces, I don't know if that's actually been reduced. So here, all files and folders option added. You have the control what is displayed, folders or files. Okay, so that's not really that big of a difference here. iOS, iPad, and iPhone updates. Okay. The app now enforces your organization, save copies of organization data, improve passcodes, displays clearer messages, some bug fixes here. So this is 3.0 for Intune. So I don't know this is for everyone. Oh, regular version. Let's come over here, ignore Intune. Update the software framework to work better, improve NetDocs keyboard capabilities, and looks like a lot of bug fixes. All right, so that's good. So I'll start testing those out to see how they work. And then iPhone, we talked about that one. Let's just see what's new here. New releases, let's come over to product launches. Let's go to all right. I feel like we got to talk about this one. All right. So, NetDocs is now basically building an integration with Claude. Basic NetDocs AI assistant was using OpenAI, Pattern Builder Max, OpenAI. NetDocs is now building a connector with Claude. I'm pretty excited about this just because our company has been using Claude kind of for like 2 years now. We've not really used ChatGPT or OpenAI or Copilot. And so now that we can integrate NetDocs with Claude, I'm excited about that. We will be doing a webinar shortly on it. So actually with Julian here, who's done some other webinars with us, we've got this set up to go. So I think I just want to point this out because I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and Julian's got a little video about it here, but we're going to be doing a full webinar to go over this because I think this is kind of the path forward with AI and NetDocs. For me, I mean, all the other stuff works too, but more of what I'm excited about, more maybe of what our company is good at, is using Claude. All right, let's come over, and I'm going to go through this quick because I got to start this webinar. NetDocs tips. Um, let's come over here. Save a web page directly to NetDocs. No download required. All right. This is a question about people trying to print web pages and save to NetDocs, and I kind of explain how to do this here. So that's a question that we've been getting a lot of. 3 ways to use Claude with NetDocs without buying the MCP, ND300. So there are ways of connecting using Claude and NetDocuments. I am not a lawyer. The issue that you will run into here is that Claude, using it this way, there's really no data protection. Okay, so using it through the NetDocs MCP server, this is where we have agreements between Claude and NetDocs on what data is retained, what data is trained, and we'll go over this more in the webinar. But I'm answering the question because you guys are asking it to me all the time. How can I use NetDocs with Claude? So I explain how to use it, and you should know as attorneys and legal professionals if you can do it. That's really the big ones here. So let's come over to events here. All right, we're doing advanced training right now. July 1st, we'll do the collab space training. And, I don't know if we'll have everyone on there because that'll be the Wednesday before the 4th of July. And then we'll do an office hours. That covers us the summer. We have a little bit of a less schedule just because of, travel and stuff like that. All right, so the topic here is NetDocs Advanced Training. What is good for everyone is I gave 2 of these advanced trainings yesterday for different law firms. So I'm pretty keyed on, and I've kind of made some improvements on the way that I want to do it. The first thing we do in advanced training is we talk about more. So we're going to go into list view, and we're going to go over all the options that we have in more. In this case, I think I'm going to go directly down the list. Once we go over more, I'm going to go over grabbing links from documents in NetDocs and what you can do with them there. After that, we are going to go over searching, how to save searches, how to search for deleted items. We'll cover that actually and more, but just like how I can customize the NetDocs search to work for me. And then we'll open up Outlook and we will go talk about folder mapping. Most people are using NDMail or NDSave, but there is the way to map a folder in Outlook to a location in NetDocs. So when you drag something from your inbox into a folder, it automatically saves into NetDocs. That is the order of advanced training. The other thing we'll talk about more is customizing your power bar and customizing your right-click menu. All right, and then I'm going to point out here in the NetDocs training manual, we're on page 49 of this 100-page guide. We kind of cover more here, and there's a video of me going over the list of commands, and we're just going to go through this list here. And I feel like it's kind of up to date, but we're about to find out here. And I'm going to figure out the stuff that, has changed and we kind of need to clean up. So let's come over into this sample matter. We're going to toggle from summary view to list view. All right. Now, the biggest complaint I get about more is, hey, Craig, it's grayed out. I can't use it. And you cannot use it here because you will never have it ungrayed unless you check the box next to one or multiple documents. Now we can come over here and click on more and let us go down the list here. All right. So all information. I'm going to click on all information, and this comes up here with the document. It's showing us who has access to the document, and it's showing the profile attributes here. If there was a data loss prevention on here policy, ignore that. But if there was, we'd see it there. If there were any attachments, if this document is linked to another document, where is this document stored? You get all that good information, and then we're breaking it down by version. We're showing you the most important thing here, margin notes. Let me pick a better document, because really, to me, all information is really where we can start using margin notes. So let's come over here. Let me see the preview. Do I have anything here? All right, perfect. So I'm going to come over to more, all information. All right. And we're going to use a feature called margin notes. Okay. What are these? It is a way to comment on a document without it actually being in the document. All right. All right. So these are margin notes. Now, what is the benefit of this? First off, we're getting these in multiple programs. So I'm not relying on Adobe Comments, Foxit, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Like, it works for all of them. So kind of universal commenting on documents. The next thing, the advantage here is none of this goes into the document. So there's no worry that I send this Word document to someone and they go in and see all the comments there. This is all embedded in NetDocs. None of it is embedded in the document. And then finally, there's the ability. The third thing here is that we can kind of communicate with one another. So you'll have the person who put it there. Well, then I can leave a comment. Now it's going to be a little weird because because Wayne wrote this and then I'm commenting back, but we'd have different users and we'd see who the user was there. So we get to kind of communicate back and forth on these, never embedding them in the document. And then the fourth option is the to-do like capabilities here. So once we fix the date, let's check the box here. Once we remove the paragraph, check the box. Once we added the page number, we'll come over here and check the box. So now you see the three things that we have completed here. All right. So comments are here. Yeah. So now we have, Ben, you have a question. So what I'm going to do is allow you to talk. You have to unmute yourself.
Got it. Thank you. And I guess please mute me again or let me know how to mute myself when I'm done.
Absolutely.
My question is just, okay, so when someone's scrolling through list view, will they be able to see which of these? I guess two questions. One, will someone else be able to see which documents have margin notes on them? And two, and I'm getting ahead of myself with the Claude thing, but will Claude know those margin notes to look at on a document or other tools we're using to explore? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yep, absolutely. All right, I'm going to
Okay.
answer both those questions. Is it all right if I put you on mute?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So great. Let's go over to the first question first here is, okay, so you've put all these margin notes on here. How does someone actually know that there's notes? Like, does everyone have to come over to more than all information and then come over to margin notes here to get to everything? No. So if we're looking here, let's look at our panel here, document details. All right, here are the details here. Here are the versions, and here are the margin notes. So if you leave this on, say, margin notes, and as we go through here, you're going to see everything that has margin notes here. So there's no notes here. And this one, there's three completed notes. We check the box, we're seeing them. So you don't actually have to go into all information to see the margin notes. You are seeing them here. Now, if I come over here it's just showing me the comments. I actually do need to go into all information. If I click on full view here, that's the same way of jumping in. So that's probably the easiest way. So I'm looking at these here. I'm like, oh, there's notes. Instead of all information, I'll click on full view, which is basically all information, and then I can see the notes there. All right. Now, second question, and it will be better answered in our Claude presentation about NetDocs. But I'm going to tell you right now, it probably will not know margin notes. And the reason being, and I bet you it will know in the future. Okay. So the thing is that there are, APIs built out of what stuff Claude can access. And like right now, Claude can't write back to NetDocs. I think eventually it will be able to, but it cannot right now. So will margin notes be something that Claude is going to see? I have no clue. I mean, if NetDocs allows it and if there's a way to do it the API, yes, and I'm sure someone will try to do it. Um, the only way that you can see it if there's margin notes is if you're clicking right here. What you're asking for, and maybe we do a feature request here, is if we come in and modify the column headers to see, hey, is there margin notes here? And as of right now, I don't see that there's any option to see any sort of, add margin notes here or any indication. That is a great feature request that I will create in NetDocs if it doesn't already exist. But for right now, the only way you know notes is if you leave this panel opened, and as you're scrolling through documents, you will see that they are there. Right now, that is what we have. So coming over here, like we're not seeing anything. And then I will kind of see if we can get like a notification, which I don't think happens right now as well. So, but let me just move on because that's the first thing here, margin notes. Now I'm going to come over to more and I'm going to click approve. What is approve? That's what approve is. It puts a stamp next to the document, letting you know that the document has been determined to be somewhat finished. Okay. Your firm has to determine what that actually means. But, like, hey, we're filing something to the court. We prepared the document. We filed it to the approved. It's kind of like that's the final document. It's like, oh, we finally created this will, sent the will to the client. We're going to mark it approved. We cannot change what the button says. It says what it says. Okay. So approved. So firms that use this come up and say, hey, when the document's done, we'll mark it approved so everyone knows that it is done. If someone were to come in and edit the document and hit save, the approved will go away. And that all that information is tracked in the audit trail of NetDocs, which we will cover a little later. More, ask AI. You are only going to have this functionality if you have the NetDocs AI Assistant. We've done training on the NetDocs AI Assistant. There's a lot of blog posts there. If when you get this video sent to you tomorrow, there's going to be a link to our other webinars, and there'll be our webinar on the AI Assistant tool, which is the NetDocs integration with OpenAI to query your documents. Okay. So ask AI, that would lead us into a rabbit hole of the NetDocs AI assistant training, which we did a couple weeks ago. Auto version, great feature. So let's actually pull this into a conversation now about versioning and ways we can enhance versioning in NetDocs. So I'm going to open up this borrower pledge agreement. All right. This has been opened up on my computer. It is version 1 of the document. All right. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make some changes. And the way that I can version it is I must click save as. If I accidentally hit save, I overwrite version 1. So I'm going to click save as and click save. We have created a version of the document. All right. So that's the way NetDocs works. There's two versions there. In more, we're going to find a lot of enhancements. And let's go down the list and I will go over them in order. More, auto version. I am worried about one of you mucking up my document. I feel like one of you is going to open up my borrower pledge agreement, make changes, and hit save without versioning it. And then I won't have my original document. So I'm going to turn on auto version, and then I'm going to click OK. And now, anytime someone other than me makes a change to this document, NetDocs will automatically create a new version, regardless if they hit save or save as. Now, everything I'm doing here, I could have selected multiple documents and turned on auto version. Can you turn on auto version for every document in your NetDocs repository? No, you have to select the documents here. All right, more check out as new version. If you're like me and you used computers in the 90s or maybe even in the 80s, actually, I did use computers in the 80s. I was just really young, but especially in the 90s, you're probably used to that blue screen of death, Word crashing, or maybe at that time, Word perfect, and you losing everything. So I have muscle memory. When I open a document, I'm always hitting save. And that takes away the ability for me to create versions if I'm just hitting save. So before I open up a document that I know I want to create a version for, I'll just click check out as new version. This will create version 3. It gives you a place for a version name and a version description here. And then I'm going to hit OK. And we've automatically created version 3. So more checkout as new version will create a version before you even open it up. All right. And then we're going to come over here to lock version. All right. If I click on lock version, I'll just click lock here. When I go to open up the document now, NetDocs wants to open it up for read only. But if I don't want to open it up for read only, if I want to open it up as a new version, I will choose copy to a new version and open for editing. And I do want to check official version. We'll talk about that in a second. So lock version says, hey, keep version 3 intact. And next time someone wants to make changes to it, force us into version 4. Now, I will say more deliver a secured link has that functionality as well. Lock version before sending. So if I'm sending version 4 to the client, I'm going to lock the document. So when the client reads version 4 and I go into NetDocs, I can see version 4 and I know exactly what they're reading. All right, and then more here. Versions here just gives you a list of the versions. That's the same thing as clicking on the version number, so kind of pointless here. Upload new version. If you have a document on your desktop, you could come over here and select it and use that to upload. However, I don't ever really use that functionality anymore because NetDocs is good enough to do this. All right, this is where I just noticed when I downloaded something, there's no longer that download screen coming opened. But I'm going to show you right now. All right, borrow pledge agreement. I have it updated here on my computer. I just come over and drag it on top there, and then that will create a new version. You got to be very careful that you drag it on top of the document itself. All right, so more. We went over upload new versions, which is just the same as clicking on the ID number, auto version, check out as new version. One of the other things I just want to come over here is let's open up and we'll click on V5 to get a list of the versions. The official version is version 5. Okay. What happens if, say, we screw up version 5 and we want to go back to version 4. Should we delete the version here? I don't recommend it, mainly because you all then bother me with support calls telling me NetDocs can't count correctly. And I'm like, oh no, it totally can. So if you see that there's, the official version is 7, but there's only 4 versions, that means someone deleted 3 of them. Okay, so if it looks like if I delete version 3, which I'll just do right now. Oh, why can't I delete it? Let's see here. I don't have this checked out anymore, do I? Let's come back over here. Oh, because version 3 is locked. All right, that's why. All right, so I'm going to come over. Oh, I can't delete any of these. Oh, well, because I have multiple ones selected. All right, let's try this again. All right, there we go. So delete. You want to delete this. This is where, so there's 5 versions here, but version 2 is missing because we deleted it. My more effective way of doing this is, let's say I'm going to come over to the version description. Craig messed up V5 going back to V4. All right. And then I'll just hit save. And then I'm going to come over to V4, click the 3 dots, convert to official version. So that's now the version we're working in. When we open up the document now, we are opening up version 4. All right. So this is, I feel like, a flawless process. When I do a save as, and we're just going to hit save so you can see this. When we go into NetDocs now, where did version 6 come from? Version 4. So this is where I love versioning because it keeps everything in order on the way it should be versioned. All right. The other thing I want to go over here, and then we'll move on. This probably should have been an hour and a half webinar, but borrower pledge agreement. If I open this up, I want to save this as a PDF into NetDocs, but I do not want it to be version 7 as a PDF. I want it to be a separate document. Watch this. I'll go slow because I don't want to go over it again because I know people ask questions here, but I'm going to click Save As. I will uncheck Save as New Version. Step 1, uncheck Save as New Version. I'm going to leave all this the same because I want it profiled exactly the same. I'm going to come over to File Name and hit the space bar and then the backspace. So I have changed the document name. And then I'm going to come over and change it to PDF. This is the proper way of taking a Word document and saving it as a PDF in NetDocs. All right, then it's going to close the Word document and pop open the PDF. All right, now, one of the other things I am going to do, so I'm getting a little out of order here, this is a good use of more, is now that I've done that, I want to link this PDF back to the Word document. More, link documents, okay? Oh, man, I'm really messing up today. Well, I have to select 2 documents to link. More, and then I'm going to come over to link documents, and these will link the 2 documents to one another. The reason I would do that is if I'm looking at this PDF and I'm like, where did this PDF come from? Over the document details here, linked documents, it shows me where it came from. So you can link more than one document together, but that is a really useful feature. All right, now check in is new version, and check out, not really used a lot. Check in and check out aren't used really at all. NetDocs has been around since 1999. When I click on a document now, it opens up. That's checking out. And when I close it, it checks back in. So I no longer feel like I really need these. Check in as new version. I will use this mainly on a Mac where I open up a document and after I close it, there's a window of time where I could click on the document and click check in as new version. It will version the document. What about checking in a document that someone has left checked out a month ago? So that is where you will use the check-in feature. I will say a couple things there. You have to have admin rights to check it back in. Okay. And if you do that, and people are always worried about losing data, but you've already kind of lost the data. So if someone opened up this document, made changes to it, hit save and closed it, and it didn't check back in, it's just in NetDocs with the original copy. And there's a green check mark there that no one can do anything about until that document is forced checked in. So, and I'll go over in searching how to find checked in documents. But yeah, I guess that's where you would use that. You could use it then, or you could just click on the green check mark to check it in as well. That's a good point. All right. Clear DocuSign status. Now, I'm not going to have time today to get into this whole thing about DocuSign, but I love this feature if you use it. So, if your firm owns DocuSign, and NetDocs. And some people aren't always clear about that. So you're not getting DocuSign through NetDocs. You have a separate DocuSign account. If you send a document via DocuSign, and I don't have time to go over this. Okay, I apologize. But this is going to go into DocuSign. You're sending the document for someone to be signed. When they sign it, the beauty of the NetDocs DocuSign integration is that when the person signs the document, you still get all the normal emails, but the document goes back into NetDocs. Okay. So that's the advantage there, is that someone doesn't actually have to save it. Clear DocuSign status. So this is a lifesaver. If I sent this document to an attorney and I asked them to sign it and they marked it up, and I'm like, crap. All right, I got to go change the document, send it to again. I will clear the DocuSign status so then I can go in and make the change. Okay, because you can't really do that when it's out to be sent. That's why they built that feature in there. All right, delete. So I'm going to check the three boxes next to these documents. I'm going to come over to the word more and I'm going to hit delete. All right, this will delete the documents. How do you find deleted documents? It is an advanced search in NetDocs. So if we come down here to show more options, I'm going to check the box next to deleted items and hit search. This is everything that has been deleted in this cabinet. Now, one of the things that I think is useful here as we go look through this is if we come over here to, let's say, this document right here, more, and I can come over to history, and here's the complete audit trail. So Craig created this document at this time and then deleted it at this time. So deleted a couple days later. So that's how I know who did it. I could download or print that out. More, okay, undelete will restore the document back. If I am a NetDocs cabinet administrator, if I hit delete again, this document is deleted permanently. It's gone from the system. Bye. All right. So that is how delete and history, or the audit trail, works. That history will stay there to the end of time. All right. This is an advanced training. We deliver a secured link in the initial Windows training. Download. And now we have a functionality. When we hit download, there's an instant download. If we click on one document, I'm going to download this to my desktop. Notice it is not checking the document out. It is just downloading it to my computer. If I click multiple documents, more, and then we're going to come over to download, it is going to convert them into a zip file, then download them. So when you do more than one, you will get it into a zip file of the documents. Again, in this case, the document is not being checked out. You are just basically copying it to your desktop. edit profile. So, and this like download changes if you have one or multiple documents. So if I have one document, it comes up here. I can change the name of the document, client, matter, doc type, comments, author. I can change all the fields basically here. It's showing me what they are and I can change them. So if this is at the wrong doc type, I can come over here and fix it, hit select, and then update. Okay. Now, the other way to do this is if I select these three and come over to more and then edit profile, everything is blank now because I selected three different documents. So if I change the doc type here to discovery, everything else stays the exact same. So when you select multiple items, everything will be blank and you only choose what you want to change, leaving this blank. The client's going to be the same, the matter is going to be the same. We're only changing the doc type to discovery. Can zip folders be saved to NetDocs and open from NetDocs? Yes, zip folders can be saved in NetDocs. The question maybe is, should zip folders be saved in NetDocs? And I'm going to always default to no. A zip file can't be searched. It's just taking up space and really not doing anything. I mean, you can search for the name and that's it. Um, you can unzip the files and use the ND Office folder import tool to get them in there. Or maybe you put them on a server or something like that and link them to NetDocs. But traditionally, especially with storage issues, I don't recommend saving zip files into NetDocs, although it is not a limitation on NetDocs. You can definitely save them in there. All right, more. We're going to come over email copy and email link. We go over in initial training. Let's come over here to more and then follow. So if I follow this document here, what I am saying is anytime someone makes a change to this document, send me an email. Someone being someone other than me. So anytime someone other than me makes a change to the document, send me an email. So you just know what has been changed. All right. Go to workspace. So let me show you when you would never really use it here. Let's say we do a search in NetDocs. All right, I'm going to do a search for anything that has a memo in the name. All right, this is the document I'm looking for. I'm just making that up. More, okay, and then I'm going to choose go to workspace. This brings you to the workspace where the document lives in. So that's really when you're going to use it is when you're in when you do a search, more go to workspace brings you to where you found that document. All right, history is the audit trail. Link document we went over. That's you have to select more than one. Lock document. This is what we use as our way of like for us, it's our forms. So all our forms are locked. So now when I go to open up addendum one, I will be forced to save it as a new file. Even if I try to save it as a new version, it won't let me. You can't save it as a locked document. So I have to uncheck it and save it as a brand new file. All right, we're gonna hit new. Replace won't work. We'll get the same error message, so it needs to be new here. And then we've created a new document there. Let's just ignore that because I don't have time. So that's locking a document. We use it as forms. Now, the only thing here is only a cabinet admin can unlock the document. All right, more lock version. We went over modify access. All right. So if we go to click modify access, this is where we can change the security. If you want to change the security, you need to first remove the default cabinet access. So I'm going to hit remove here and let's go over to, let's come back into the general docket because this one isn't secured by an ethical wall. So more modify access. All right. So clients demo, default access. So if I do this, then basically no one has access to the document. I'm going to come back over and I'm going to choose my name as I'm logged in with yours, and I'm going to give myself full rights and then apply. All right, so this document is hidden to everyone but me. How do I know? Modify access. I'm the only person listed there. Now, let's say for this Excel file, I want to make sure that everyone can see this, but I'm the only one that can make changes. More modify access. All right, I'm gonna come over and remove the client cabinet default access. You always have to do that before you make changes. And then I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna come over to cabinet demo full access and choose view. So I'm saying I should have full rights to this document. Everyone else at the firm has view rights to the document. Now, before I hit save, since I might be doing that a lot, I'm going to come over here, save as new template. Okay, I'm going to call this read only 2. It's got some other read onlys, and there we go. So now, when I'm looking at this document more, I'm going to come over to modify access, and I can choose read only 2, and it resets up all the security properly. Now, the other thing is I can tell if the custom security has been changed here. Well, if I go look at a file here, over the document details, it will tell me. And I don't see the picture of the blue cabinet like I see for everything else. So I know that the stuff has been modified. See, if I see the cabinet, I know it has not been modified. All right. So lock versus modify access. Um, why do I do one versus the other? So I lock the document because it's foolproof. Modify access, what most people, this is what we used to do, is um, go in and remove everyone but me. Well, then I was the person changing all the forms. Okay, well, what happens if I come in and just say give everyone view access instead of lock access? The problem is I am a cabinet administrator in NetDocs, which gives me VES access to all the documents, so I can still change it. Where if I lock the document, I can never change it unless I unlock it. Plus, I see the little icon that says lock right there, and you don't see that with modify access. What happens if you hide the document to everyone except yourself, and then you share the document to someone? Can they see it? If you did an email copy, they could see it. If you do an email link, they cannot. So email copy, yes. Email link, no. All right. Moving right along here. All right. Move/copy. All right. So this is where we're going to get into foldering. And it also kind of depends on how the cabinet is set up. Your client cabinet is usually a workspace-based cabinet. So if you edit the profile and say choose a different client or matter, in effect, you've moved the document to a different client or matter. Here, let's say we have a pleadings folder here in NetDocs and we have amended pleadings. I want to move stuff into amended pleadings. That's the perfect place for move/copy. So I'm going to come over here, choose these items, more, move/copy, and then I'm going to come over to pleadings, amended pleadings, and I'm going to hit move. So those documents are still going to show up in whatever doc type filter they're in, but now I have moved them into amended pleadings here. I mean, again, just because it's in a folder does not mean there, but the doc type here is pleadings as well, so that is correct. Now, what happens if I accidentally moved this document into this folder? Do I delete it? No, because deleting it will delete it entirely from NetDocs. And I'm assuming you want to keep it. You just accidentally put it in the folder. That's why we have an unfile button. Unfile will pop it back out of the folder and leave it wherever it was. And then if we come over to more here, move/copy, copy duplicates the document. And then what the heck is file? File allows you to take one document and put it in, say, 7 different folders. So you don't want to use move there because move would move it out of one folder and put it into another. File leaves it in the original folder and puts it in another folder. Use case here. I had a client and they're like, look, we've got these billing instructions that get updated all the time. On each matter, I want a folder called billing instructions, and I just want one document. I was like, okay, so let's open it up. Let's create the folders. Let's have the one document, and then let's file it into every single other matter. So there's still only one Word document. You're just seeing it in every matter. And then when they would update the billing changes, you would see those changes updated in every matter. I mean, this is a somewhat advanced concept that I went over real quickly about taking a document and moving it into a folder. There's only one document. You're seeing it in multiple places. All right. So, and I'm just going to have to blast through this. I apologize. More. All right. We went over lock version, move, copy, open. Same thing here. I'm not really sure if we have open here, why we're doing this. It's basically the way NetDocs used to work, and I guess they're afraid of changing it. But if we click on a document, we open it. So, not really there. Open as read only. Same thing as holding down the control key. Open as read only will open up this document in read-only format, meaning it will not be checked out to anyone else. So if you just want to read a document and you're not making changes, open it as read-only. Print will print to whatever your default printer is. I don't really print a lot, so I don't use it. The other option would be open up the document and go to File, Print, and you'll have more options. But print will will print the document without opening it up. Print cover letter. This is mainly used for Twain compatible scanners. So I don't know what the use case here would be on this. Actually, I mean, I know how to do this. I guess if you were scanning something in and you use this cover letter, honestly, I don't know the answer here. Let's just see if I answered it here. Yeah, so I don't really do a good job of answering it here. I mean, I understand the creating a cover sheet when there's no document. Why would you create one when there's a document? All right, I'm stumped on this one. So, but I know it exists now, so I'll chase it down because I have to. Um, Rename will rename the document. Review, something I don't see used at all anymore. It is a way of looking at the document and starting discussions and I guess tracking them here. I feel like more like margin notes has take this over. Really not used feature of NetDocs, but probably one person's using it, so they can't get rid of it. And then send to application. Variety of features. If you have two documents and you want to merge them together, so one's version 1 and one's version 2, append versions. If you're using Draftable, Latera Compare, Bundle Docs, Workshare Compare, this is how in the web interface you send documents into those programs. And I know NetDocs is working on cleaning this up. And then send a DocuSign. We talked about share externally. This is used with collab spaces. And I think view in browser just shows you the document. In a web browser, you could also right click on it. All right, so we are done with more, and I only have 10 minutes left. Let's talk about some customizations. And the first here is the power bar. This is the power bar right here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. 6 items here, but if you have the AI assistant, that's taking up one of them. So if I come over to more, and let me just zoom out. So customize power bar. This allows you to determine what options you have here in the power bar. So I want Ask AI. You can't do anything with that. Email, copy, email link, deliver a secured link. All right. And then what else do I use? Maybe edit profile. And let's see here. What else would I use? And maybe modify access. Oh, all right. So because the AI assistant's there, I only have four that I can use. So email copy, email link, deliver secured link, edit profile, and AI assistant. So that's me customizing the power bar. You can customize this by coming over to more and coming down to the very bottom and choose customize power bar. And then no matter where you are in NetDocs, you will see the power bar there. The other option you have is to customize your right click menu. So I'm going to come down to customize menu here, and these are basically all the features in NetDocs, and you can choose what you see or not. We can have whoa, I've never noticed there was a limit. There's 20. So let me get rid of some of this stuff here. We'll leave that there. Leave that. And then you get to choose the order as well. So just drag over follow. So if I right click now, follow, and I can follow the button. All right, real quick, because running out of time and things to do. All right, I'm going to come over to NetDocs here. Now, this is the advanced search window here. Now, someone asked about checked out documents. There is the ability over here. You can do a search for all documents that are checked out. Okay. And this will search your repository for everything checked out. It then tells you who has the documents checked out. So that's an advanced search. The other thing over here, we talked about deleted item search. So this is everything that's been deleted. And then the other thing I like to point out here is that you can come over and click on the gear and you can customize the search template and what order you see everything in. One of the things we don't go over a lot in training is there's also an email search. This will allow you to search an email address or email to from, and you can filter with attachments, which is a lifesaver. Other thing I want to put out here is doing a save search. So I'm going to do everything created in the last 5 days. That's a -5. And then I'm going to hit search. All right. So this is every document created in the last 5 days. Search results, save search, created within 5 days. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to click on the star here. So because I did a -5 there, this is going to adjust every 5 days. So, and now on my home screen, I have a created within 5 days search here. So tomorrow that will change. It'll keep changing there. The other thing I like to point out when doing searches is I can come over here, go to print list, okay? And this will create an Excel report of everything I have, and I get to choose my headers here. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to save this to the desktop, and now I'm going to open up the Excel report. And there it is. So if you do a search for documents, you're doing research, you come back with 40 documents. You can print that list, which creates this Excel file. And this doc ID here has a link to all the documents. So if you click on this link, it goes directly into the document. And the last thing I'm going to leave, we're just not going to cover folder mapping because we just don't have time, is over here. I just want to go over when we're looking at a document in NetDocs. So I check the document here and I click on the doc ID. That copies the doc ID. And then I can just hit paste. So it does the copy. If I come over to the doc ID and I hold down the control key and click on it, and we go to paste this now, that is the exact link to the document itself. It's an internal link. Only someone internally could use it. And then if I come over here and if I hold down the shift key and click on this, this will copy and I'll paste a pretty link. You know, it has a little picture and there's a link too. These are internal links. All right. The only thing I didn't get to is folder mapping, which is fine. How do you find that save search again? Where is save search stored for use? And let me just read the questions here. What do you have to have margin notes? Can you unlock a document? All right. So great questions. Let's finish them up here. All right. What NetDocs plan do you need to have margin notes? I kind of feel like it's something that they give to everyone now. Okay. But what it's in plan. I mean, if you bought NetDocs today, you would just get it. It isn't plan there. So if you have plan, you would get margin notes in there. If you've got NetDocs recently, you just have it in there. If you don't have the ability to unlock a document, well, first off, it's got to be locked to unlock it. So, but if you don't have the ability to unlock a document, it might mean that you're not a cabinet administrator in that cabinet. Since I'm a cabinet administrator, I can unlock that. And how do you find that save search again? Where is it stored for use? All right, we'll end with this. All right, because it's weird here. All right, so I'm going to do a save search. I'm going to do Word documents. All right, created in the last 80 days, minus 80. All right, and then I'm going to do search. I'm in the client's demo cabinet. I'm going to come over to search results, save search. All right, it is usually gets saved here at the root of the client demo cabinet. Okay, so I'm just going to hit OK. And then when it comes up right here, I click the star. That's how I get it on my bookmark. But you're like, where is that actually saved? It's at the root of the cabinet. Now, how would I find it? Let's just say if I'm like, where is it? So I'm going to do a search in clients demo. And then I'm going to come over to file extension and I'm going to do saved searches and search. So this will list all of the saved searches in the client demo cabinet. You can see I have all these different ones here. There is an option in a matter. So if you save it that way, it's at the root of the cabinet, which is you only can find it by searching. That's why I started and put it on my home page. When you are in a matter, if you want to add a specific save search to that matter, you can click on the drop down in the matter. And there is, where is this? Add save search. So I could add a save search just to this matter, but I would have to know the criteria. All right, next time we do this, I feel like I need to make it longer. But maybe the next time we do an advanced search, I'll do it for an hour and a half because there was a lot of good information, and I apologize, I just had to go fast here just because I'm kind of back to back these days. I appreciate everyone's time. There's stuff about folder mapping on the website, so we'll go over that. And then I will talk to everyone soon. Thank you so much.